the business was first selected for a random audit. We sporadically do random audits on businesses. Cypress Cold Storage was selected, and they went into the audit process.
Was there an agreement that would say what would happen if you did not make payments?
Yes.
Okay. Would they have both been handled the exact same way?
I would have lost access to them if I didn't pay, if that's what you mean.
Oh, sorry. The next witness they wish to present.
Where did he?
I'm not sure where the first chair went, if I'm honest, Your Honor.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Taro, and thank you so much for stopping on in for part 2 of this court trial. It was just way too long for me to do it as one full stretch, so I had to break it up into 2 sections. If you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Taro. It is wonderful to have you here. I hope you stick around for more content to come and great storytelling in this roleplay environment. Please, guys, hit that like button. It really helps out the channel, and it means so much more than what you think. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get on to the video.
Okay. And could you give me just a brief synopsis of your involvement with the search of Cypress Cold Storage on March 8th, please?
Yes, ma'am. We were informed of some irregularities. We filed a warrant with the state to seize the business. Upon doing so, upon the warrant being granted, we seized the business. And then several days later, after some other police business, myself and Detective Lieutenant Lamb, as well as a couple of SWAT officers, went over to the cold storage to start reviewing information and items that were located inside the facility. As we started going through a couple of the lockers, we realized that the locksmiths that went over did not properly secure the storage facility, and the primary renters of the lockers still had access to remove items. So because obviously we couldn't lose the chain of custody at that time, we made every effort possible to secure all the items in the facility, and we moved it all to the United States Marshal's headquarters here in the state.
Okay. So that brings the question. The redacted copy is obviously not the original copy. It was redacted for obvious reasons, other people's sensitive information. How did you obtain that document?
That was the result of information that our computer forensics department took from the computer, which was taken from the cold storage facility. Moving
on to the email correspondence that was had between you and Mr. Medina. How did that correspondence come about?
Mr. Medina himself contacted me via email requesting access to items located in locker number 6. In that email chain, I confirmed which locker it was. I had him give me his CSN number as well as some other information to confirm that he was indeed the individual on record as the renter of that locker.
And could you do me a favor, if you don't mind, Your Honor? The last 2 portions of that correspondence, could you read what was stated?
I'll just have to look that up. Sorry, you said the last 2 emails?
Correct. Zach, it's going to be Exhibit B, labeled email correspondence between Chief Deputy Marshal Weekings and Mr. Medina.
I've got it. Sorry, I just wanted it for the record. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you were in the right.
No, you're okay. Thank you.
All right. Please continue. Yes, the last two of the correspondence.
So I was replying to Mr. Medina. I said, yes, of course, our office is really busy. Can I get your locker number, name, CSN number, and phone number, and we can sort it out. Signed, Mitch Weekings, Chief Deputy Marshal, U.S. Marshal Service. He then replied stating locker number 6, Ross Medina, his CSN, which is Juliet Tango Alpha 78279, and his phone number, which
you don't have to write that down.
Okay, and then he said, thank you in advance for the help.
Exhibit D, which is a redacted copy of the Cypress Cold Storage business document, how did you come about obtaining that particular document?
Sorry, this is the ledger from Cypress Cold Storage.
Correct.
We were provided this item by Dockle. It was part of their audit paperwork, their audit report, and it was listed on page 1 of that report.
Okay. All right. No further questions at this time.
So first thing I want to ask you about here. So what can you repeat what you mean by, or I shouldn't say repeat. Clarify what you mean by the locksmiths did not properly secure the cold storage facility, please.
So when we seized the facility, as per our warrant, obviously we secure the entire facility so that no evidence can be taken or entered into the complex, and that hadn't been done properly, and we discovered that when we went to the facility on March 8th. Okay, transactions tab.
Okay. On line number 9, the only line that was not redacted with any information on it, can you please read to me the date on column B, line 9?
The date looks like the May 19th, 2023.
Okay. And to the right of that, under column G or H, the reason column, could you please read to me how many weeks?
The document says 8 weeks.
Okay. And that would put us in what month?
I believe that would have been July.
And of what year?
Probably 2023.
Next, I'd like to turn your attention to tab units, the tab named units, excuse me. On line 8, could you please tell me what the date is under column E, where it says paid up to on row 8?
It says December 27th.
And column H, where there's, I'm guessing that's just supposed to be notes or something. Could you please tell me what that says?
Sorry, in which line? Or which column?
Line 8, column H, basically just outside of the...
it says auto bill for 12 weeks.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. That is all I need.
Hello. Can you please
Hello.
state your full name and your occupation and your title, please?
I am Wyatt McKenzie, the Assistant Commissioner of the Department of Commerce and Labor.
Okay. And can you explain your involvements that led up to the seizure of Cypress Cold Storage, please?
Yeah, so the business was first selected for a random audit. We sporadically do random audits on businesses. Cypress Cold Storage was selected, and they went into the audit process. Our team did a review of their financials, specifically their ledger. We had noticed the irregularities with the dates that things were, like the time, like how stuff stopped coming in September. And with that is really why we went to the marshals, is why is the business and how is it still functioning?
Okay. So in regards to the ledger, Exhibit D, who provided that ledger to you?
The business owner provided the ledger when they applied for the business.
Okay, well that answers my next question. I was going to ask when it was provided. So it was provided at the time that they licensed the business? Is that
correct? Yes,
okay.
Every business is required to provide a ledger when they're being licensed.
Okay, and this has to come from the owner, yeah?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
And do you have any cross that you wish to present to Assistant Commissioner? God, Mackenzie. God, you guys have really long titles,
Sorry.
I'm going to be honest with you guys, okay?
I didn't pick it.
Yes, Your Honor, if I may.
Go for it.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Sir Assistant Commissioner Mackenzie. It is a little bit long, isn't it? But it's nice. How are you doing today?
Not too bad.
Fantastic. So, Mr. Mackenzie, isn't it correct that according to the documents you were given by the owner, there was no legal owner of the locker in question, locker 6, for at least since December 29th, possibly from July. It's very odd the way they've done it.
Objection, Your Honor, out of scope. I never addressed renters or anything of that nature.
To be fair, withdrawn, Your Honor. Withdraw. My apology.
Okay. Do you have any questions? for the
No,
witness?
nothing further from the defense. He can step down, but we'll keep him under oath, please.
No, that's already not already entered in.
Awesome. Okay. We'll now move to defense's submission of evidence and questioning of witnesses. If you want to bring forward any evidence you wish to present that have already been submitted to the docket, I might add, or any witnesses that you wish to call up, this would be the time to do so.
Defense calls the man, the myth, the legend, Lieutenant J. Lamb to the stand, so we can hopefully get him out of here.
I'm staying for the
Okay.
whole. I'm a legend. Okay.
May the man, the myth, the legend, Detective Lieutenant J. Lamb, may
Got a
sit
ring
back
to it.
down.
Hello again. Have you in the past ever rented, leased, or financed an apartment, hotel room, house, vehicle, anything like that?
Yes.
You have.
Mhm.
And to the best of your knowledge, if you failed to make a payment on that item, whether it be a house, a car, apartment, whatever, what happens?
Objection, Your Honor. He's asking something. Relevance is they are different. The apartment rentals are very different than a privately owned storage building.
Not sure how the concept of renting or paying for something is different.
Can I get you to repeat the question one more time, Mr. Michaels?
Certainly. Lieutenant Lamb, to the best of your knowledge, what happens if you yourself fail to make a payment on said item, whether it be an apartment, a car, a house, whatever it may be?
Okay. I'm going to allow the question, but it is something that is quite different, Mr. Michaels, and I will note that. Okay. But I will allow the question.
To the best of your knowledge, what happens if you fail to make a payment on whatever item it may have been? A apartment, a house, a car, whatever it may have been. If you are renting, leasing, financing, what happens if you fail to make a payment?
I'm normally, depending on the thing, I'm normally given notice on everything. I'm normally given notice that I need to pay, and if not, then I would lose access to said whatever it is, apartment, vehicle.
Said item is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm normally on top of my bills, though.
No, that's fair. I wasn't suggesting you yourself.
Okay.
Just a question. So okay. Nothing further from me.
Okay, does the state have any cross-examine for the witness?
Yes, I just have one question to follow up on. Since you have rented in the past, Lieutenant Lamb, would you say that every lease that you have ever signed has always been actioned the same way if you don't make payment?
Can I ask a bit more clarification on the question and what you mean by that?
Yeah,
Sure.
defense too.
Okay, so you've rented in the past, which you just testified that yes, you've rented to in the past.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yes.
So, has every lease agreement that you have ever signed been handled the same way when you do not make payment? I guess I could further clarify that you've done multiple different types of lease agreements between a
Correct.
car or okay. I'm asking for a little leeway here, Your Honor, to kind of explain this because it's going to end up sounding like a compound question otherwise. To try and get my point across, I think it may be a language barrier in this instance.
Okay.
Okay. So, say, have you had an apartment lease
Yes.
agreement? Okay, and you've had a car agreement to make payments.
I normally buy my cars outright.
Okay, but have you ever? You say normally. Have you ever financed a vehicle?
Not that I can recall.
Okay, have you ever financed a house?
No. But I've storage unit I have.
Okay, so you've rented a storage unit.
Yes.
Okay, so was the lease agreement the same from your apartment and your storage building?
No.
Okay, and was there an agreement that would say what would happen if you did not make payments?
Yes.
Okay. Would they have both been handled the exact same way?
I would have lost access to them if I didn't pay, if that's what you mean.
Okay. So, but say with your apartment, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't make payments, do they notify you?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the same with your particular storage building that you
Yes.
Okay. So, but to say that all lease agreements that you have signed were exactly the same, would you say yes or no?
No, they did not have the same documentation.
Okay. All right. That's all I had, Your Honor. Sorry that took so long to get around to that. I didn't realize it was going to be that complicated.
All good.
Complicated, wasn't it?
Any redirect from the defense?
Yeah, real quick.
Hi again.
Hello again. So, just in general, if you don't pay,
Sure.
you lose access, correct?
Yes.
After time.
Yes, after additional fees and warnings, yes.
Okay, sweet. That's all I got. Thanks.
I'm struggling. I'm sorry. I can't.
Use those leg muscles.
Get to the
Vertical.
gym, Jay.
Sorry, guys. What are you about to say?
Oh,
I did it.
Oh.
Your Honor, sidebar if we can for a second.
Sure.
I'll make it quick. I promise it's not going to be a 40-minute.
Oh, sorry. The next witness they wish to present.
Where did
And,
he?
wait,
Where did?
I'm not sure
did
where
that
the
go?
first the chair went, if I'm honest, Your Honor. Is it, I'm getting a phone call from him, Your Honor. Well, may I take it real quick?
Mhm.
we can take a couple-minute recess.
All right. He is walking back through the front door.
Sorry, Your Honor. He'll be in momentarily. It's been quite the trip.
Sorry, the aliens decided they wanted me for a second.
You know, I didn't know there was a slide underneath the defense table, but we'll get that investigated by Public Works. Wait, do they still exist? Please tell me that.
Yeah, yes, they.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Okay, Patrick. Go.
Chief Justice Clarkson, just to make sure we get that work order submitted to Public Works. Hey,
Yeah, I'll have my clerks handle it.
awesome. Okay.
I need a second. You were saying, sorry.
Okay. Does the defense have their next witness they wish to present? Or does the defense need a minute? I can give the defense a minute if they need a minute.
We'll recall, Chief Deputy Marshal Weekings.
Weekings, yeah.
That one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stand. That's okay.
Oh, okay, that's good for the health as well. I'm glad you made it over here without falling and tripping to a different planet. It's very
You
dangerous
know,
in here.
an hour at the gym does wonders.
Yes, you know what? I'll give that a shot, but I'm a little old. Anyway, let's get to business. It's late and Mr. Lamb's gonna fall asleep. So for him, I have just one question for you. I'm gonna make it nice, saucy, and brief. Is there any financial transaction recorded with Mr. Medina and the storage unit, other than the previously said ones on the ledger, or on Exhibit D?
Not to my knowledge.
Splendid. Let me just confer with my first chair. Hopefully he's all healthy, and you'll be all set.
Oh yeah, we're good.
You guys don't have any other further questions for Marshal Weeking?
No,
No,
Marshal
yeah.
Weekings.
Okay. Any cross?
I just have one question. When you say that you were unaware of any other further transactions, with the ledger it states auto bill. Were you under the impression that he was being billed automatically for his access to the locker?
Objection, speculation.
I'm not asking him to speculate about whether or not he was. I'm asking about whether or not he had the impression from it that he was. What his opinion regarding the auto bill was. And it does specifically state auto bill on the ledger itself.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I was asking if you were under the impression that since it was marked auto bill in the ledger, that you were under the impression that he was being automatically billed for his access to the locker.
Yeah, it seemed my impression is that every 12 weeks he would be sent an invoice for the locker, whether he wanted it or not, until he said he didn't want it.
And were there any other invoices that you're aware of from the business?
To the best of my knowledge, that's part of the reason why Dockel came to us in the first place, is that the business had stopped collecting cash from its renters in September, and they couldn't justify how the business continued running without taking in money. Yeah,
Your Honor, if I may, the witness was asked a simple question and has continued on from there, beyond the scope of the question.
It was all within the scope of the question, the answer that he provided. It was just more information than I think that I was asking for.
May I rebuttal to that?
Okay, so you're objecting, Mr. Michaels, to the question being asked, or the answer being asked, or answer being answered?
The answer that was... The question asked, correct me if I'm wrong, was whether or not there was any further transactions, correct?
Further invoices from the
I'm
business,
sorry,
correct?
invoices, correct, yes. And then Chief Deputy Marshal Weekings continued on about why Dockel had requested them to investigate. That's beyond the scope of the question.
I mean, we can withdraw it. It's he answered that no, there were no other invoices. Everything else can be stricken from the record if you wish.
That's fine with me.
Sure, we'll just do that.
I have no further questions.
And the court's coming out of recess. The defense may proceed with their closing statement.
Fantastic, thank you. Good evening once again, and thank you all for sticking with us through this. The state has tried to assert that Mr. Medina had legal rights to the property. However, there is absolutely no legal documentation to support that. And the dates within Exhibit D even state that Locker 8 was only paid was only paid for up to 8 weeks after May 19th, 2023, which would bring us somewhere into July of 2023. Further, on that same ledger in Exhibit D, there is conflicting that says we were paid up until December 2023. If we were paid up until December 2023, we don't know which one truly is correct. Did my client pay up until December 2023, or did he pay up until July? There's no financial transactions found between Mr. Medina and the storage company to account for him paying for any time past the previously stated date. Overall, there's a significant amount of facts that make it impossible to say for a fact that Mr. Medina was the owner or the lessee at the time that the search warrant was executed, and as such, cannot be held legally responsible for it. Further, the state at the time of execution of the warrant had ownership of the property turned over to them, as was stated by the courts. And if that is the case, I must ask, was it the defendant who had ownership, or was it the United States Marshal Service? According to the courts, it was the United States Marshal Service. And so in that case, how could my client possibly be responsible for the items found within? Finally, there have been multiple instances of shoddy bookkeeping and inaccuracies and discrepancies found throughout. So how can we know for certain that nobody else had access to the lockers at any time? Thank you.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else to present to the court's going to be in recess. I'm going to give it 20 minutes to write my ruling up.
So much for 20 minutes.
Oh, I know, right? This could either be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yep.
But showing up back too soon is just a bad thing, in my opinion. You know, like within less than 5 minutes, I consider that a bad thing. Because that means the judge already had it previously thought out on the ruling, so.
Taking his sweet ass time.
Yeah, he's weighing all the things that were presented. I admire that.
All right, court's not back in session.
Oh, shit. Never mind.
We're already risen.
Sorry, there's a line. Just gotta get through the line, you know. It's all good. Okay.
Here we go.
Everyone can take a seat. I'm just gonna stand. The ruling about to be issued is regarding to a case heard on the second day of March. Oh, sorry, second day of the month of April, in the year 2024. Docket labeled 2024 CM080, the State of San Andreas v. Ross Medina, heard in courtroom 1 of Alta Street Courthouse. Correction, Alta Courthouse, not Alta Street. The court has heard from both parties and has come to the following opinion. It is apparent that the contents of the locker were not in question today, but rather the ownership of said contents. The defense argues that the state did not do its due diligence in regarding to find the current leasee of the locker, as it is the defendant's claim that he no longer had legal possession of said locker. The courts looked at not just the legal ownership of the locker itself, but the current, in quotation marks, owner of the items found within the locker. Even if legal ownership of the locker was not found at the time of seizure, it would not stop someone who still had access to the locker to operate and use said locker without oversight from the business.
Damn.
Furthermore, as presented by the state, the operators of the business labeled Cypress Cold Flats Storage that the defendant had at one point legal ownership of the locker in question. Additionally, the evidence shows that no other individuals had legal ownership of the locker afterwards, as seen in State Exhibit D. The state also provides to the court Exhibit A, so State Exhibit A, a live excerpt of the database contained of the Cypress Cold Flat Storage computer, which showed the last leasee of the locker, as well as the applicable PIN to enter said locker at the time of seizure. Finally, the court also reviewed Exhibit B, an email conversation between Mr. Medina and the Chief Deputy Marshal Mitch Weekings of the United States Marshal Service. In the email, Mr. Medina admits to having ownership of a unit at Cypress Cold Flats,
Yeah, that fucked
and that he had items seized from the United States Marshal Service, which were then later identified as items seized in Unit 9. The court's opinion, the case comes down to the ownership of the items within the locker, if there had someone else had ownership of the locker after Mr. Medina, and whether Mr. Medina is liable for the items found within said locker. As such, the court has reached the following verdict. Just to make it very clear, and I'm just gonna say it, I do find that Mr. Medina still had access to said locker, that the items found within the locker were in the ownership of Mr. Medina at the time of seizure via the United States Marshal Service. But there is an error I am wishing to correct with the charges list that we're going to go into furthermore. To the 15 counts of Class 1 drug possession with intent to distribute, this is calculated out from the 300 buds that were found. The law states that every 100 grams is one charge. With 300 buds by 5 grams, that'd be 1,500 grams. Just so the court finds you guilty, Mr. Medina, of the 15 counts of Class 1 drug possession with the intent to distribute. To the charge of felony possession of counterfeit or marked bills, the court reviewed the legislation on this. It looks at the maximum charges with the ownership of the 850 rolled notes, maxing out at max of 5 charges, or well, maxing out time and fine at 5 charges. The state only charged you with 5 counts, therefore I will find you guilty on those 5 counts. The unlawful possession of the illegal weapon. Items found within the locker was 2 knuckle dusters. As such, under state law, these items are classified as illegal weapons. As such, the court will find you guilty of unlawful possession of an illegal weapon times 2. The illegal weapon components. This is regard to the items found regarding the extended magazine and the suppressors found, totaling a number of 69 items. I find you guilty on the possession of 69 counts of illegal weapon components, or possession of legal weapon components. Possession of explosive or incendiary device components regarding to the items found within the locker, regarding to the 5 blasting caps. Therefore, the court will find you guilty on that charge, times 5 of the possession of explosive / incendiary device components. 7 months, 5 days probation, and full fine, as prescribed by the court. Okay, I will ask the bailiff to take the defendant into custody. What we will do is we're going to get the defendant taken into custody. We'll clear the courtroom, then the defendant will be escorted out by law enforcement and processed up to Bolingbrook State Penitentiary. Okay, that being said, this court is now dismissed. Thank you everyone for attendance, and please leave in a nice-ish fashion.
What a venomous bitch.
Atticus is hilarious.
I've been called worse.
Alright, open a door.
Yeah, you're also inept at your fucking job, bitch.
Oh,
Okay, guys, please.
DOA,
we're
guys,
still in the
please
courtroom.
be calm.
Wow.
that was long.
It's, yeah.
No, the moment the judge started talking, I knew the call instantly. I've seen it enough times at this point.
Yeah, he wants to talk about purple fantasy shit. I'm like, okay, is everything good? Yeah, he's like, yeah, everything's good. So, I don't know what he wants to talk about, but nice helmet.
Shut up, Paco. I get it. Okay, it's whatever hat I'm wearing gets put onto this outfit. Maybe I should just put a hat on this fucking outfit and call it a day. Okay. Stop it.
God damn. Thank you for coming with me, even though I feel like most of them hate me, so.
I don't think that's the case.
I just think they were unhappy with the court case, but it would have been respectful or nice to get like a hello or something, not have 3 of them fucking walk right by me and not say a goddamn word, but
That's their problem. If they have that issue, that's their fucking problem. That is not your problem. They need to grow up and stop being fucking children at that point. I will say it to their fucking faces.
no, we will not.
I won't. I'm just saying, they're acting like fucking children, Paco.
I know, it's not. It's whatever.
There's a reason I don't do that shit.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll